Hello, it's Vincent here from Vincent Games. Welcome to round 4 of a standard league using Black White Zombies. Looking at our opening hand, we're on the draw and we have a lot of stuff that costs 4 mana. Having the Cryptbreaker on turn 1 is nice, but we're not going to be able to activate it turn 2 because of the Shambling Vent. So this hand is somewhat clunky. Again, another disadvantage of playing the tap lands, but Gideon is potentially game breaking if we can cast it. We do have a Lord, so I don't like the 2 Liliana's Mastery, but I am going to keep this hand. So assuming we can draw land, then we'll be alright. So Aetherworks Marvel, potentially, or Team of Monsters. This could be really bad for us. Okay, Concealed Courtyard was a good draw. We can now do Cryptbreaker and go to town. Assuming it doesn't get Harness Lightning or Magma Sprayed or any of the many things that could kill it. Probably not overly interested in casting a Lord on turn 3. We're just going to pass here because we just want to make zombies. Basically, just want to make zombies. If they're holding up Censor, then this is quite reasonable. Okay. End step. Binding Mummy feels probably quite weak against them. But without actually having the mana to play a Liliana's Mastery, I am quite comfortable discarding it. Yeah, sure, everyone kills the Cryptbreaker, but it's too late, we've got a zombie. Now we can just attack. Let's say Magma Spray. Okay. It may have been better to discard the Binding Mummy and keep the Liliana's Mastery. It may have just been better, try and be patient. Ugh, that's not good. That is not good. Untap land would be good just to get Gideon going. No, of course not. So we get the Colossus down, then we can start to formulate the go wide plan, which I think is good. I don't see why they wouldn't just spend some energy here. Yeah, that's fine. Does mean we just can't attack, which is annoying, but we just have to live with it. They could attack, especially if they start casting things like Glorybringer now, they'll be in a very good spot. Or just Harness Lightning, that's also very good. So they're in a position now where they can just remove our board and just start really doing some damage. I mean, we're not going to block though. Ooh. I am happy with that. I don't really want to start racing. Okay, I am thinking if we just jam a Gideon, it's probably going to eat a negate. So let's go with this. Leave 1 mana up for Censor as well. Force him to use energy now. Use energy on my terms. Oh, there's a 6/6. We're not in the best spot here, really. There's a lot of cards that we don't want to see, like Glorybringer. Another Hydra. Yeah. So this whole go wide plan is not really panning out. I think they have to start attacking us really, otherwise we just sit here and we don't really go anywhere. I can't really afford to block. Not at this stage anyway. Well, I could just block with a zombie. No. Zombies is how I win. I feel like running a Gideon into a negate is not really what I want to be doing. However, they seem quite flooded, and I feel like they would have just played a Glorybringer if they had it. So it's likely they have negate, or maybe just the extra lands. A Binding Mummy is not doing much. So if they don't have a negate, then we come out quite well. I just think a Binding Mummy I can play at any point, and it just adds not very much to the board. If we go for the Gideon and it gets countered, then if we draw a land, wow. It's funny, isn't it? You just sit there thinking, oh, it's going to get countered, it's going to get countered. Sometimes you just have to go for it. And we'll make a Knight. So what we're going to do is just chump the Hydras now. Now that we have a couple of tokens we don't really care about, just going to chump. I mean, this does play really poorly into Glorybringer, but again, I feel like that would be a top deck if they did have it, given how they've sequenced. Yeah. So kind of flying by the seat of my pants here a little bit, just hoping they don't have things like negate and Glorybringer. We kind of have to block now because this is too much damage. So this guy's going to block here to force him to pump, and this guy is just going to stand in the way. Kind of want him to use his energy in an unproductive way. Like all that does is keep his thing alive. Whereas now he can't protect both of them. If I was to have two removal spells, not that I have two removal spells, of course. Okay. This is so bad. so bad. Double Lord's interesting. I think, again, they just played another land. If we Emblem Gideon and then play a Lord, our stuff gets massive. So the Binding Mummy would be a 4/4, 5/5. But then it still doesn't actually beat the Hydra. All they need to do is play more energy or a removal spell, which they have in abundance. So I don't think the Emblem plan actually achieves an awful lot, because we'd still just be chomping. And then we're at risk of being blown out by cards like Blossoming Defense or a Harness Lightning. So I don't think that's correct to do that. So I think we want to just go Lord and Token. Or Binding Mummy, and yeah, Binding Mummy, Token, and then we've got better chumps. Although the Lord is just as pathetic blocking. So yeah, we're definitely going to play Lord. And then if we attack with Gideon, that feels pretty loose. Basically, I think we just make another chump blocker. There's no way we attack. We just need to draw land to then make our Liliana's Masteries really good. Not sure what's happening here. Oh, That's unfortunate. Me not attacking Gideon. So if I let 11 through, yeah, you can basically pump that once. So that becomes 13. And then a pump spell will be 14. Well, yeah, the energy they've got. So I have to block or I'm just dead. Blocks here. And then the Night Ally blocks as well. That way we might be able to... If they've got a Harness Lightning, then that's really bad. That is really bad. But if they pump it, we still kill it. Assuming they don't have a Harness Lightning. Fine. Okay, so we go to 7 and hope. Thanks, Tapland. A Gideon emblem is interesting here because if we emblem, then our stuff just gets tougher. So we can block a bit more effectively. I'd definitely play Binding Mummy. And then if we make an emblem, then our stuff becomes 4/5. Yeah, I'm tempted just to do that. Make our stuff massive. Try and stay alive a turn. So like we can block now like a significant chunk of this damage. Obviously, but there's so much we die to. So much we die to. Like the Glory Bringer again, just like 4 in the air. I don't think we can cope with that. They can still pump as well with Ronus if that happens. Okay, interesting. So they've realised that there is no profit in attacking. So we kind of have to block because we lose to Blossoming Defense, and I don't want that. So we will chump. As unsatisfying as that is. Yeah. And he wants to protect his Hydra, this is the thing. At this point I don't think they're playing Censor, but you literally never know, and to be blown out by that now would suck. They could also just have Negate. Yeah. That was rough. Sandbag, Nat, Negate. All their top decks it. That was a great top deck for our opponent. But we're not, in this spot, we're just not going to play Liliana's Mastery. And that's just... That sucked. And we lose now. Yeah, did not expect Baral's expertise. That is great tempo play. So we want Grasp of Darkness, and we want Anguished Unmaking, and we want Declaration in Stone. We also want Dusk till Dawn, because that is good. Now they may board in Sweepers, which is a pain. We're going first. So I think Binding Mummy is potentially quite good. Obviously it's not very good against the Hydra, but we have an aggressive start and they're playing creatures. Then Binding Mummy is good to force through some damage. Negate, packing Negates, then Liliana's Mastery is not that great, but they probably take it out. Gideon didn't really feel like he was doing an awful lot, so we're going to lose Gideon, and then we have just one card to take out, which, again, Liliana's Mastery was fine. I mean, if we'd drawn the land, we would have been okay. But I think it's the same principle. We just want to be racing them effectively. So having these extra bits of removable and doing that is pretty good. I'm not sure on Fatal Push. That could be a massive error, but we're going to stick with this. Just kind of want to come racing out the gates here. So this is good. We'll keep this. We're on the play. We have the 1-drop that we want, and some removal and a Diregraf Colossus. So we are off to the races. So we just want to be aggressive. That looks like a magma spray. We'll play a land in a minute. Hesitate for a moment, make them think that this is all we have. Yeah. Get in for 2. Play this and turn up the pressure. Yep. I don't really want to deck in stone that. If I've got another way to kill it, I will, but no. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down the Colossus plan and pass. Not going to offer the trade. They won't trade, but I just want to draw cards. So we've gone down to 3 cards. They still have a full grip, so we just want to kind of put pressure on. Oh, they don't have lands, so they could get blown out by decking stone here. Don't play land. Sure. So in response, we're going to tap 3 zombies. Cool. If they don't play land, I'm almost certainly Declaration in Stone on their servant. Yep. Okay. That's just going to happen, I think. So Deck and Stone this. They get 2 clues, which is rubbish, but whatever. Now that we've just done that, I think I want to attack. I feel like taking them off 2 mana when they've missed a land drop, the 3 damage is going to be super relevant. Yep, a tune. It's a pretty good draw to get out of it. And they can crack a clue. Maybe this will be enough. I don't know. They've just gone for a mountain though, so that suggests to me. Oh no, maybe not. I thought they were going to have Sweltering Suns. They still might just have Sweltering Suns. You just never know. But I'm still going to play a Lord. Get in for 6. Just hope this sequence was enough. If they use Sweltering Suns, then we're pretty. Yeah. That was bad. But I wanted to go for it. So we'll play Cryptbreaker. Having the Dread Wanderer made me a little bit more open to going with that line. Just because we could get the Dread Wanderer back. Okay, you can make it a 6/6, which is really quite irritating. So we're not getting around this Long Tusk Club, but we just want to drain him. The Long Tusk Club's going to get massive, so we can't really do much about that. But I'm just not really that fussed. Kind of just want to draw a card. Ronus. Okay. So that's a much better thing to try and Dark Salvation. Okay, so if I... No, we're just going to tap 3 zombies and draw a card. Okay, that was a good draw. So 8. So if I think we just wait on this Dark Salvation now. Although if we Dark Salvation for 1, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, would have 5 zombies. They don't have any way of keeping their Ronus alive, so actually really like that. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, now that they don't have any cards in hand, and they got to crack. Oh, they could do it, but they'd have to. Yeah. X is 1. If they get the Blossoming Defense off of the clue, then fine. Like, not an awful lot we could have done about that, but we drain them twice. And we pass. Getting rid of their Ronus is pretty big as well. Just like not interested in attacking at all here. Just keeping the zombies, drawing a card. We'll tap that. The Cryptbreaker, who's never going to block, and the other Wayward Servant, who's also not going to block. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sadly, those clues are giving them quite a lot of stuff, given how long this game's kind of dragged on. And they're drawing into attunes. Oh, another long task hub. Yeah, if you want to attack, then go for it. I mean, you can make that an 8, whatever. Shambling Vent is not a particularly exciting draw. Just ride the drain train. Jump with the zombie now. Oh, rough draws, man, rough draws. Well, that's good for energy for you, I suppose. So he can now pump that 4 times. That's now going to be a 6-6, or he can make that one a 10-10. We might as well actually do this. Just thinking about it. No, that's fine. Two drains. Yeah. So I didn't want to block. It just didn't really feel like there was much point. Sorry I wasn't commentating much. So yeah, going to 4, it didn't feel too bad. It was bad if he top decks Glorybringer, but I was kind of banking on that just not happening. Might be a little bit loose. But more importantly, I just wanted to keep my board presence, so he could block 2 things, but he was just going to take too much damage either way. So it's just a case of just getting to the point where he was dead to the swing, no matter what he had. Might have been better him actually keeping a card in hand, because that would have made me think more what that they actually had. Whereas cashing in that energy was just pointless. So we definitely want Fatal Push. I think it was silly not bringing those in. I was kind of forgetting about Long Tusk cards. Sweepers make me think Gideon's probably quite good. I think being on the draw, probably want some amount of Gideon's back in. And removing that. So Gideon's good against sweepers. Taking the masteries out is a bit. We're just taking just more removal, just tons more removal. I think having some amount of Gideons is quite nice. I don't want too many, so I think I might just have like one Liliana's Mastery, because that is good. Yeah, that feels good. I think we just want to have answers to their threats. This is a good start, so we will keep. So we've got stuff to do early, and no Attune, which is nice to see. Stuff to do early, 2 Wayward Servants, which are proving to be great against these creature-based decks, and a Fatal Push. Servant of the Conduit. Tempted just to push that. Yeah. We Fatal Push this. Run a Cryptbreaker out. And just get in for 2. Just really shutting off everything they've done for turns 1 and 2. Rogue Refiner. Such a good card. Annoyingly good. So as much as we're now just not attacking, going to cast the Wayward Servant. Probably going to get Sweltering Suns. But when you've got a Cryptbreaker, it's great just to set up these turns where you just have 3 zombies. So if we do get Sweltering Suns cast against us, then we can draw a card and we'll get Dread Wanderer back eventually. So it's not great, obviously. Ronus is obviously also not great, but at least you've got that bit of protection with Cryptbreaker and Dread Wanderer, kind of giving you that value. Declare attackers. I might just block, because I can get my Dread Wanderer back. Yeah, fine. And I'd rather trade with a Blossoming Defense here on this insignificant Rogue Refiner. Then get blown out by it, in a more meaningful interaction later. Okay. And arguably, I'm not going to actually be able to cast it for a while. So we're going to go with Wayward Servant against the clock here now. Declare attackers. Don't really want to. I want to draw more cards. As much as time isn't really against me. As much as time is against me, I do just want to draw cards. Yeah, so drawing the cards is just getting 2 lands in a row there, which would have been awful. I mean, they are helping us to get to this Liliana's Mastery, which is nice. Now that it doesn't have negate there, we are just going to cast that. And again, just sit on the Cryptbreaker and Zombies combo. Ugh. Oh, why did I just let that happen? Oh, I'm not thinking. I'm just concerned about the time rushing through. So yeah, that was bad. I should have drawn a card. Or what I mean is, I didn't want to lose the extra life there. Okay, so we can Dark Salvation something. I don't really think that's that interesting. I would rather do this. And this. Go. Ugh. Did not feel good about this match. I don't want more Baral's Expertise. It's such a boring card. So yeah, kind of going a bit quiet here because it's just against the clock, but I just need them to not stall out. Fine. So that's going to be 10 damage. So we've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 on the crackback. If we kill the servant. End step. Weirdly enough, these lands aren't completely dreadful. So I'm fairly confident they'll have a negate. So I'm just going to Dark Salvation for 1. Killing Aronis, hopefully. Blossoming Defense. I forgot about Blossoming Defense. But that's fine. Get a zombie. Get some life. Have to attack with this and this. Kind of want them to block with the servant. If they have Harness Lightning, then well, if they have Harness, I'm not too worried about Harness Lightning because if they have Harness Lightning, they just cast it and kill the Diregraf because they've got like a billion energy. So they go to 6. Cast this. Target me. Have to target this. This doesn't feel that great, but I need life and I need them to not have creatures to hurt me with. Another Blossoming Defense. Hilarious. Well, the good thing about this is at least we're not dying to them. So like if you had double Blossoming Defense, that could really affect our maths and how we block. 5 life, not a glory bringer. It's really bad. Yeah, exert something to kill something. Yep, that dies. So I go to 5. So he's got 3 blockers. Pretty much tapped out, no cards. He blocks Diregraf, zombie, and takes exactly 5. That was crazy. Wow. That game was insane. I'm not entirely sure I've sideboarded correctly. Really not sure. This is one of those games that I'm gonna have to replay back and see. But that was intense. Like, I mean, I was talking about Glorybringer the whole game. Unfortunately, when they drew it, it wasn't enough. But yeah, I think perhaps Liliana's Mastery is if your plan is to go wide, because going wide like that is, if I didn't have the Mastery, and that's like the 1 or 2 that I left in, I just straight up wouldn't have won that match. So yeah, food for thought there. But yeah, on to the final round.